can student make the most out of college? Because
Yeah.
I meet students every day. One thing I tell them is there's a lot you can hear about college, but you're at a good place. So how
Yeah.
can they make the most out of
Sure.
educational journey in college?
That's a great question. And I know prior to our call, I was thinking, well, gosh, what are those things? And I was thinking, well, as a professor, I could talk about study techniques and study skills and things like that. But I think more fundamentally, and this goes both for I think a college freshman, a graduate student, or even for you and I as people, it's being very clear, being crystal clear on your why. Why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I have nothing else to do and I just want to, compile debt and get a big student loan payment? Is that my why? It's probably not. There's usually a reason why you're going to get to further your education. And I
Yeah.
think it's super important as you begin that journey to be crystal clear on your why and be honest with yourself. If your why is, I just want to be rich, well, just be honest with yourself. If that's the case, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but be clear on that. Don't pretend that it's because mom and dad said so, or grandpa said so, or my dad said so, whatever it might be. Be clear on and honest with yourself. This is my why. And why that is so important is it's just what keeps you grounded.
Yeah.
It's that becomes your target. And as you are, going through courses and you're just navigating college and university life, you're going to come across a lot of decisions you have to make and choices you have to make. And if you're clear on that why, you can always ask yourself, well, is this thing I'm deciding to do, does this serve my why? Does this align with my why? So, for example, um, there's nothing wrong with going out with friends on Friday and Saturdays and the weekend. Nothing's wrong with that fundamentally.
Mhm.
But if the choice is I have a test on Monday or I have a paper I need to hand in on Monday, I'm only halfway through. Does me going out serve my why? Now, maybe it does. And maybe your goal is just to make a lot of friends. If that is your why, then be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Most of the time, though, a person's why is I want to get a job, or I want to learn more about this topic that I'm passionate about, or in some cases, and I see this a lot with international students, I want to go back to my home country and I want to fix something or contribute to my community or my group in a way that betters the situation. That's a super strong, powerful why. Or maybe it's I'm a single mom and I want to get out of the cycle of poverty, or I want to get out of, having to scrape by. Well, if that's your why, ask yourself, does what I'm about to do, does it serve my why?
Yeah.
So I think everything that, I think if that's where you start, that's probably the center of the advice I would give is be clear on that. And that might change. I mean, when I started college many years ago, my why was one thing, and then it changed.
Yeah.
But I was honest with myself and not like, well, hey, I want to be a doctor because they make a lot of money. Well, first of all, that'd be a terrible idea for me. But I was honest with myself. And I think
Yeah.
even through life, we have to keep being honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think another thing I would encourage students to do, Rico, is um, don't be afraid to fail. Because if you get through this whole experience and you've never failed anything, if you get to your 4 years, your 5 years, your 6 years, whatever it is, and you've never made a mistake and you've never failed at something, you've never had to struggle at something, did you really grow in the experience? Or are you just really good at playing the game of school? So step outside of your comfort zone and really challenge yourself. I mean, if let's say that in high school, you took AP classes and you took classes in accounting and accounting comes easy to you. Well, that's fantastic. But are you growing in the meantime? Are you just sort of standing still and passing your time? Are you just putting in your time and waiting to walk across the graduation stage? I mean, this educational journey is it's not a prison sentence. No one's forcing you to do it. So if you're going to be here, embrace the experience, step outside of your comfort zone. I mean, that comfort zone is a dangerous place for people, and it's a comfortable place. It's a place where we can go and that it's called a comfort zone for a reason. It's like a security blanket. But if you really want to grow and you really want to get something out of your 4 years, your 5 years, your 6 years, jump outside of that comfort zone and don't go back to it. Because one of the benefits of being young and being 19, 20, 22, 20 in your early 20s is you have an entire lifetime ahead of you. And you have this opportunity in an environment that is supportive, that has some guide rails along the way, but they give you space to explore. So step out of that comfort zone, blow it up, move past it, and really figure out, well, who am I? What is it that I'm passionate about? I have a close relative who a long time ago wanted to be a pharmacist, and he went on to become a pharmacist. He's a pharmacist to this day. But if I ask him, do you like your job? He hates his job. But for
Oh,
some reason, he decided he wanted to be a pharmacist, and because they made good money and there's
yep.
security there, but he's not passionate about it. He's good at it,
Hmm.
but he's not passionate about it.
Yeah.
Now, making money and being able to pay your way it's important. I mean, I don't want to say that money is not important,
Yeah.
but it shouldn't be the thing, because
Hmm.
money comes and goes. You're gonna have time when you have money, time you don't have money,
Yep.
time when you struggle. But if you can step outside of that comfort zone, and along the way, you're gonna find the thing or the
Hmm.
things that charge you up, the things that get you going in the morning. And if those align with your why, now you've made a connection. And I think if students can again start out being crystal clear on that why, stepping out of their comfort zones and not being afraid to fail and sort of failing forward, as they say,
Yep.
I think success is there. Now it's going to take time. And we all, if you're if you've been in the workforce for a while, you've seen new graduates come and go. And
Hmm.
and I was probably this way when I was in my 20s. You get out of university or get your master's degree, and you have an expectation of, well, this is the end of the rainbow. I put my time in, I got my degree. So what, 6 months, I should be promoted now, right? Or I should be a manager now. Well,
Yeah.
you have to be willing to put in time. I'm not talking about time like, 50 years necessarily, but along the journey, um, you know, make it's not just about making tough choices. It's also about being willing to be humble, because you are not going to know more than a person that's been in a job 20 years or 50 or maybe even 5 years.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
you're not. You may have a lot of great information, but when you get in the trenches and you're there doing whatever it is you're aspiring to do for a career someday, or in your volunteer work or whatever it might be, um, you're not going to know everything you need to know. In fact,
Yes.
as I'm sure you can relate to, you never
Oh,
know everything
yeah.
you need to know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You never stop. It's an
Yes.
ongoing journey. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and so along the way, seek out people you can learn from. I mean,